Folks, welcome back. In today's class, we're going to introduce a very important concept in GenAI today, which is MCP, or Model Context Protocol. MCP is a protocol invented by Anthropic late last year. The reason is simple. GenAI models or large language models, even though it is very powerful, it doesn't know natively how to interact with other systems or applications. For example, GenAI large language models doesn't know how to directly interact with SEC Edgar system, which is the system houses all the public companies' filings, which is why Anthropic created MCP. And any one of us can create and publish MCP servers out there for people to use. MCP servers can be local servers or can be remote servers. So the purpose of those servers really is just one purpose. That is to provide the toolset that large language models can leverage. So the large language models, by using the server as a middleware, can interact with other systems outside of the large language model's purview, such as SEC Edgar system. So with this, in today's class, I'm actually going to give you an end-to-end tutorial how to install an MCP server locally to interact with SEC Edgar system directly, and which is a very, very powerful SEC research tool you can build yourself without paying any premium research access for other softwares. So with this, let's get started. And many of us as accountants and finance professionals, we all know what SEC Edgar system is. For those who don't, SEC Edgar is a system developed by SEC that houses all of the public company filings. Public companies are required to file a number of different forms, like common forms like 10K, which is for the annual filing, and 10Q is for the quarterly filing. Are basically a lot of people are most familiar with those. There are also insider trading forms such as Form 4 or important events filings such as 8K. So all sorts of filings are stored in the SEC Edgar system. So large language models today don't have a native tools to directly interact with SEC Edgar system. So if you want to do a really in-depth equity research or disclosure research for your own company, and basically you need to directly search things in Edgar or pay some premium access to some research tools offered by service providers. So with SEC Edgar MCP, so imagine if you set up an MCP server that provide tools to large language models to directly interact with SEC Edgar, then essentially you're going to have a very smart system help you to do all those researches. And then you can essentially limit the research within the Edgar system as well, because you're using the SEC Edgar MCP. With this being said, let's find out what are the SEC Edgar MCPs available out there. You can Google search SEC Edgar MCP. The first one is a community project developed by Stefano. He's an amazing developer, and he essentially developed SEC Edgar MCP and published his MCP in GitHub, open sourced. And if you look at this GitHub, it shows you if you install this server on your machine, then you can basically quickly use it as part of your Anthropic chat client. Today, as of October 2025, ChatGPT hasn't been able to use MCP direct connection yet because MCP is a concept developed by Anthropic after all. Anthropic in cloud, you basically can use MCPs very easily. However, you can always use MCPs in some of the IDEs, such as VS Code. So in today's session, I'm going to show you how to install this SEC Edgar MCP server locally on your machine, and also use this server locally in VS Code. And you can directly using this in VS Code to interact with Edgar systems and bridge the gap between large language models and Edgar system by using this MCP server. With that, if you scroll down, you should be able to see there is a SEC Edgar MCP documentation link here. We're going to follow this documentation to install the Python version of the MCP server locally on our machine, and then start our server and then interact with this server to do some equity research using large language models, and then the large language model will interact directly with SEC Edgar. So let's get started. If you click the installation tab, you will find there are multiple ways to install this SEC Edgar MCP server. The quickest way I prefer is Docker, of course, because everything is packaged in Docker. But because I want to show you how to install this in VS Code, you can run the server directly in VS Code without even using Cloud. So that's actually this time we will skip this method in Docker. We will directly use Python package and install this Python package onto our machines and then manually start the server ourselves. With this, you want to make sure your Python version is 3.11 or higher. So many of you, if you have old Python version installed like 3.10 or below, that won't work. So make sure you have 3.11 and above. With this being said, I created a blank folder on my desktop. I call it SEC Edgar MCP, and I'm going to open this blank folder, essentially in VS Code. Now I have this blank folder open. What I can do is I can start a virtual environment. If you don't know what a virtual environment is, you really should take and finish my Python courses earlier. That will give you the whole idea of how to manage a virtual environment. So in this case, let's start our terminal. And I'm going to create a virtual environment called SEC Edgar and environment. So let's create one. And now you see this, there's a subfolder SEC Edgar env created in here. Now I have this virtual environment. So with this, I can activate this environment. So to activate it, I basically need to use the command. And now I activate this environment. So with this, let's go back to our file here to install the package. The package is pip install SEC Edgar MCP. Again, if you have no clue what I'm talking about right now, you should really take my earlier Python courses before you continue with this session. That's why it's very important to have basic Python knowledge. So let's install this SEC Edgar MCP package within our virtual environment. Once the installation completed, it may take a while for the installation to complete. Once it's completed, basically your terminal will show it's ready to take another command. At this point, we have this SEC Edgar environment prepared and ready to go. With this, the next one, we're going to set up the server configurations and start the server locally in VS Code. To start the server in VS Code, there are multiple ways. The easiest way, in my opinion, is to use the JSON file. JSON file is, again, it's a data structure that can be read by VS Code. And then using the JSON file, we can configure the server and then also start the server by basically doing one click. With that being said, let's create a folder called .vscode. And within this folder, I'm going to create a MCP JSON configuration. So let's call it mcp.json. And in this JSON file, what I want to do is put my server configurations in here and then click start. And notice when I create the MCP JSON file, you will directly see there is a button add server here. You can add the server using the command in here if you install, but I don't have to do it. I don't have to browse the MCP servers in here. I can just directly code it in JSON file, which is much quicker. With that, let me move my JSON file over here. This is my current configuration. And I will explain to you what this really means. First, the MCP JSON file lists what are the servers available out there for you. And again, it doesn't have to be this. You can install multiple MCP servers in this file. So for now, we only have this one MCP server. It's called SEC Edgar MCP. And then within this MCP, I need to tell the VS Code how to start this server. The start command is first you need to go to my desktop, go to this folder, and then go to the virtual environment and start the scripts, start the Python there. And with the Python, my Python command basically is Python -m sec edgar mcp.server. So this is equivalent, just like me typing Python -m sec edgar mcp server. It is equivalent for me to enter this command. But with JSON file, I don't even need to enter command. I can just click this button here, start. And the environment, it does require one environment variable, which is SEC Edgar user agent. Here you need to put your names and your emails when you interact with this MCP server, because this MCP server will pass your information to SEC Edgar. Because the Edgar system requires users to review who they are. So they want your name and they want your email. So this is what the server does. The server passes my information to SEC Edgar. So when you start your SEC server like this, please use your name and your emails. Don't use mine. Otherwise, SEC will wonder, why Ray keeps researching SEC Edgar for so much. So with this being said, you can tell here it says 21 tools, right? What does this mean? This means this SEC Edgar MCP provided 21 tools available to the large language model. And large language models can use these 21 tools to basically interact with SEC Edgar system. This is very powerful. With this, let's go ahead and start the server. And then let's give it a try and see whether we can communicate with SEC Edgar through large language models after we start the servers. So now let's start it now. Now we start running the server. We're able to use the built-in tools within the server. And then the large language models will be able to use those tools directly to interact with SEC Edgar system. So if I open my chat mode here, and this is the local chat with GenAI within VS Code. It is free, so everyone can sign up. And I really like the Copilot within VS Code. It is very convenient to help me, web code, right? But also more importantly, because we're running this MCP server, I literally just turn this VS Code into the premium AI powered SEC research tool that is better than most of the, to be honest, better than most of the premium research platforms out there. With this, how do I know the VS Code is already detected those tools and we are able to use those tools available built in those server? So if you simply go to click this configure tools, I will pull up the configure tools box within VS Code. And here you will see this MCP server, SEC Edgar MCP is checked. This is where I know my VS Code is able to do a lot of SEC Edgar research for me. With this, I can basically ask a lot of questions directly in the Copilot. In any of the equity research SEC public companies questions, I can directly ask here. If you want to know what those 21 tools really are, we can actually go back to the documentation in the tool overview page, and it listed out all the tools available and built in within the MCP server. Basically, you can look up any company's ticker and get company's basic info, get facts, and get recent filings such as 10K, thank you, or get filing content related to the filings and analyze the 8Ks and get filing sections, different sections too. And there are also financial tools. For example, if you just want to quickly get the numbers, you can just use get financial statements tool and get XBRL concepts as well. And also, the more important thing about MCP is you don't have to directly tell MCP, like the AI, which tool you want to use. That's not necessary because AI now have access to those tools. AI will decide itself. Now let's go back to our VS Code and ask the question of ask the random public filings question related to a company's disclosure. So I recently bought Oracle stock. Probably not a good timing, but I am interested in Oracle's remaining performance obligation disclosure in its most recent 10Q. So let's say whether AI is able to interact with SEC Edgar and to get that disclosure for us. Please extract the disclosure relates to Oracle's remaining performance obligation from its most recent 10Q. And let's send this to AI, and immediately we will see it's running get recent filings using this MCP server, and then also it get filing selections to basically let's expand this so you can see it clearly. It first ran the recent filings from Oracle 10Q, like the limit one here, meaning the most recent 10Q here. And then also it downloaded this filings for me, and they're telling me the filing date, the most recent filing date is 2025, September 10th. And then also the second run is essentially get the filing selection and basically getting the 10Q's content for us. And then this is where the getting the filing content, and here it's included the entire content directly extracted from SEC Edgar system. And then this is based on that content, it gave me the disclosure I need. Remaining performance obligation were 455.3 billion as of August 31st, 2025. And this is pretty good. And you can tell it's really fast too, right? Because we are directly using SEC's data to answer our question. And large language models is able to directly interact with SEC Edgar system because we have this middleware SEC Edgar MCP. So this is how MCP is used, and there are many MCPs out there. So there are Excel MCPs that help you directly manipulate your Excel files. There are PowerPoints. There are Gmails, Google Service MCPs. In fact, many of the if you connect any of the services in Anthropic or ChatGPT, more likely than not, they are actually using MCP connection there. So that's how you can use large language models to interact with many systems outside of the native large language model capabilities. I hope you really like this course. Now, after this course, I really hope you can try it on your own to install this MCP in your VS Code yourself. And at least you get this free premium large language model enabled SEC equity research and disclosure research tool, right? So I hope you really enjoyed this. Thank you very much for watching.